how beautiful the flowers are, and the trees, the blue sky, the stars, and the sea. How beautiful are our great cities. How beautiful things are, and how closely all things are connected. A long time ago, there were no stars, no mountains, no earth, nothing. There was only a great space which had no beginning and no end. There was darkness and coldness, and there seemed to be nothing more. We think that the night is dark, but our night is like daylight compared to the darkness of back then. We think that ice is cold, but ice is positively hot compared to the coldness of back then. Still, there must have been something in the midst of this darkness, something that was not seen and is still not understood. Within this terrible seeming emptiness was a force which drew all things together. There were little particles like dust, hydrogen particles, drifting in the loneliness and emptiness of space. At a certain moment, we don't know why or how, those particles came together and united. And at that moment, when the particles united, there appeared a great light.
Oh.
This produced a cloud that was luminous and radiant, full of heat and light greater than we can imagine, and it contained all the things in our universe: the sun, the other stars, the planets, everything. But at first the heat was so hot that everything was a gas, hydrogen gas. All other elements and all things in our universe would eventually develop from this gas. When the fiery cloud that was to become our sun was born, it was 1,000,000 times larger than it is now. And though it was made of fiery gases, it was not so hot as it was to become. Our future sun moved in two directions. It spun like a top, and it moved along a path. It seemed free, but it was not free. It had to obey certain laws.
A future sun moved. A future sun moved in two directions, spun like a top, and moved along a path.
At a certain moment, that turbulent spinning cloud, which was to become our sun, drew in many particles of dust, and gradually it made itself into a center of gravity. As it spun, it drew in even more particles, and at the center, it began to grow.
Awesome.
As it grew heavier, it spun even faster, and it became hotter until it glowed. Our sun has glowed like that for 5 billion years at least, and will continue to glow for another 5 billion years at least.
Yeah.
As the sun spun, it flattened like a plate, and rings formed around the glowing sun. In these rings, denser particles came together, and once they became centers of gravity, they grew heavier and hotter. One of these swirling, spinning circles of growing particles was the planet Earth. The new Earth was a ball of whirling gases, intensely hot. As the Earth rotated in space, it began to cool. There was a difference among the particles. Some had an attraction for one another and united. Others moved away from one another.
There was a difference among the particles. Some had attraction to one another and united, and others moved away from one another.
Over a very long time, all those different particles of gases would be transformed into earth, air, and water.
Earth, air, water.
Particles became solid, liquid, or gas at different temperatures. Each substance also had a different weight. This formed the layers of the Earth. Heavy molten iron sank to the center to form the core. And minerals such as mica, quartz, and feldspar form the mantle. The surface, or crust, was red-hot basalt.
Core, mantle, crust.
Though some particles sank, they contained too much heat energy to be contained in the mantle. They needed to escape. They needed release. So parts of the mantle would rise up and burst through the surface in the form of volcanoes.
Or all.
For many, many years, the surface of the earth was covered with countless volcanoes, which erupted lava over and over and over again. Imagine this happening for thousands of years. Over time, these erupting volcanoes created clouds of gases, and by the time the Earth grew to about its present size, it formed an atmosphere. These thick clouds hid the sun, which allowed the Earth to start cooling. Also, when these particles rose, they cooled and became denser and fell back to the Earth, bringing some of the cold from above. Next, rains began to fall. For a long time, the volcanoes still erupted and erupted, but the rains continued to fall. For thousands of years, it rained and rained and rained. The water collected on the earth, and for many years, almost the entire surface of the earth was one giant ocean. With the sun being hidden and the rains continuously falling and bringing the cooler air with them, the earth cooled even more and formed a crust. Small pieces of land and rocks jutted out above the seas. Finally, after thousands of years, the rains decreased. Eventually, the sun reappeared, and its heat and light could once again reach the earth. Finally, the stage had been set. Though it would be many, many years later, all the necessary ingredients were now present on Earth for life to one day develop.